Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about if she's not interested, she'll do this. So, what's important to know about women that do not like you is that if you are trying to get her out on a date or if you're trying to turn things into a relationship, it's very difficult basically to do so. It may even be that she's so not interested in you that she doesn't even respond to your messages or she never initiates the conversation. It seems like you're the only one that's putting in the effort, you're the one that's keeping the entire interaction alive. If that's the case, then she's not interested in you, okay? A woman that is interested in you will make it very clear by her actions that she's interested in you. She will respond in good time to your messages. She won't put you in friend zone. You know, when you ask to see her out, on a date, she will show up to that date, and it will also then it would be easy to continue dating her because she always shows up to dates, and is very interested in you and talking and asking questions about you. Yeah, it's a woman who likes you makes things extremely easy, okay? And women that don't like you as much or are not interested in you at all make things extremely difficult, okay? So if you're dealing with a woman who is difficult to meet out on a date, or you are the one that's always having to initiate conversations, and you're the one that's always having to basically, if you just feel like you're the one that's keeping this alive, and if you didn't, it would just fizzle out. Then that you're talking to a woman who isn't interested in you. Now, what can be a little bit tricky though is that sometimes you can meet women who just like your attention. So they may meet out with you. They may, be talking to you quite frequently. But what you need to pay attention here to is like when you ask them out on a date, do they show up to the date? Is it easy to escalate things physically, like kissing them? And, is it easy to slip into a relationship with that kind of woman? And if it's not, then it's more likely she's just keeping you around because she likes your attention. Okay? So you got to pay attention to that as well, because if she just wants you for attention, then it may confuse you because it may seem like she does like you, but when it comes down to being in a relationship with you or escalating things physically with you, being romantic with you, these kinds of things won't happen. It's almost like she says that she likes you, she says that she's interested, but she also keeps you at arm's length. And that's a woman that just wants your attention and likes your attention. Okay, so sometimes it can be very confusing if you're dealing with a woman like that. But what you need to know is that when it comes to a woman that is really interested in you, especially a woman that's really highly interested in you, you'll be able to feel it almost. You'll be able to sense that she really, really likes you because of the way that she talks to you, the fact that she wants to be really close to you. She may be even trying to get your attention, especially if it's a woman that you know personally, like if it's a woman who you go to work with or you go to school with, you'll be able to sense how her attraction for you because it'll be that high. Now, meeting those kinds of women is usually quite rare. You don't often come across a woman who has that high level of attraction for you. What you'll find most of the time is you'll meet women who are sort of like on the fence. Women that are, probably find you quite attractive and cute, but they're not highly, highly interested in you, and the scales could be tipped either way. They could fall in love with you, or you could do something to turn her off and she could fall out of love with you, or she could not fall in love with you. So those, sometimes it's going to be a bit more tricky to find a woman who has that level of enthusiasm for you. But what I can say is that if you do meet a woman like that, they really do make it very, very easy to meet them, to talk to them, to escalate things physically, escalate things more romantically with them. Women that have a high, high interest in you make things incredibly, incredibly easy. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, when I was a teenager in my early 20s, the women that I really didn't want were the ones that were really, 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 really into me, right? And I think it's just one of those things. It seems like when you have struggles with attracting women, it always seems like the ones that you want never want you, and the ones that you don't want always want you. And I think it's all to do with like a shift, an energy thing going on, because that kind of thing disappeared for me when I actually started learning this stuff, right? When I started learning this stuff, I was able then to find more women that were intensely more attracted to me, and then eventually I met my wife, okay? And basically everything that I learned, I put down recently in a book, which you can go and read for free on my website. I talk about it all the time now. But you can go and read it for free on my website, which is www.christineloveridge.com, and it's called Attracting the Beautiful Woman of Your Dreams. If you want to, you can get a physical copy on Amazon, or you can get the Kindle version. But on the website, you can just read it for free. You don't need to log in, you don't need to sign up for anything. It's just there on the website. So when you click on my website, you go to my website, just look for the link that says the book, and then it will take you right to the page which has the PDF reader, so you can read it, right? And if you go to, you can also find it on the menu. So if you just click on the menu, my website, just click on the book, and it'll take you right there. Okay, but that's basically all the. I've got a lot of personal experiences in there that have helped with me, and also there's a bunch of tips that I've collected over the years that have personally worked really well for me. Okay, so you don't have this kind of issue again where the women that you want never want you, and the women that always seem to want you and have a high intense attraction for you, always seem to want you. Okay, and it's a very frustrating place to be, and I've totally been there before. I think a lot of it has to do with growing up and the experiences they have as a child. I was seeking validation all the time. It seems like most of my life during that time was about seeking validation and feeling better about myself, because I was pretty much beaten down, and the self-esteem was pretty much kicked out of me by a much, much older sibling of mine. There was a big age gap between us, about 9 years. And he just made me feel like rubbish about myself. Now, if I think about myself, if I had a sibling who was 9 years younger than me, I think I would probably take on more of a parental role, right? But for whatever reason, he didn't have any kind of instinct to do that, and decided actually to make my life hell. And also, I'm pretty sure that he did the same sort of things to my other sibling, my brother, who's just a couple of years older than me. Now he regrets it later on in life, because he doesn't have anyone, and he shouldn't have done those kinds of things when he was younger. But it's one of those things. It's very hard to forgive and forget that kind of behavior. And we have no interest really in talking to him and hanging out with him really anymore. And it's sad to see. I wish it was different. I always wish it had been different. But it's just one of those things, I used to really admire him actually when I was younger, until I got older and realized that what had happened was pretty fucked up. Okay, but if you have these experiences as a child, it definitely affects how you view yourself. And I think if you have a low self-image of yourself, you don't necessarily put out a very good vibe that is very attractive to women, especially if you're very masculine and you are very attracted to feminine, beautiful women, right? If you come across shy and meek, which I used to do, no confidence, you're never going to attract a woman like that. So it's very important that you work on those things, especially with a therapist, because I had to seek counselling and stuff for what happened to me when I was a kid. And if you've had an experience where it might not have been a sibling for you, but it might have been a parent, it could have been an uncle, it could have been, anyone who was like looking after you, who you had to see a lot of your time and had to spend a lot of time with, you need to get help with those kinds of things, those kinds of issues, to help resolve them. If you're able to, if you can afford it. But it's a good thing that you have to do if you have had experiences like that, because sometimes experiences like that can have put blocks in you in order to attract the women that you would like to attract in your life. Okay, but also the book has some great tips as well, but it really should be using self-help like this book, as a supplement. It's not a replacement for medical attention and advice and therapy, okay? So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally and you'd like coaching with me, not therapy, coaching, then please go to www.christinelovage.com, where you can also find the book, and you can also pick whichever coaching option works best for you at this current time. And I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.